Next from Springfield, Dr. Beth Purvis, the former CEO of the Chicago International Charter School and recently appointed Illinois Education Czar by Governor Rauner, addresses the Alliance Leadership Summit to discuss the Vision 2020 Education Reform Plan and the future of Illinois public education. This runs about 15 minutes.
So I'm hoping after today you'll invite me back another time when I've been at the job maybe, a couple of months. So again, good morning, Dr. Clark, Mr. Eddy, Mr. Leahy, and Dr. Jacoby. I'd like to thank Brent for his kind introduction and for inviting me to speak with you this morning, knowing full well you'd rather be hearing from the governor. I'm honored to be here at what I understand is the first Alliance Leadership Summit of the Illinois Association of School Administrators, the Illinois Association of School Boards, the Illinois Principals Association, and the Illinois Association of School Business Officials. I also know there are parents in the room, and so welcome to all of you. The coming together of these four organizations for the creation of Vision 2020 and for this summit speaks to your commitment to the children of Illinois, their families, and to all the professionals who work tirelessly each day for our scholars. As Dr. Clark indicated, I'm speaking to you within hours of joining Governor Rauner's team as the point person for education. Prior to this, I had the great honor of co-chairing the Education Transition Subcommittee with Al Bowman, Alice Jacobs, Laz Lopez, who's in the audience today. It's nice to have a friendly face. Karen Reagan, Tony Smith, and Don Wilson. The larger Education Transition Committee was comprised of a cross-section of individuals with deep roots in Illinois education, from preschool through workforce preparation. Vision 2020 was shared with the Transition Committee early in the process, and I'm certain you'll recognize its influence on the final document. I'm sure many of you have already read the final report as you contributed important content, but I believe that much of the information bears repeating. For a full text of the report, I encourage you to visit makeillinoisgreat.com. As stated in the report, the promise of upward economic mobility through meaningful employment and engaged citizenship is at the heart of the American dream. Education offers a gateway to opportunity and advancement, and it is crucial to the functioning of our democracy. As the United States transitions to a knowledge-based economy, access to a quality education is among the highest obligations of the state. High-performing schools will elevate entire communities and draw families who seek strong academics for their children. A well-educated workforce will attract business, bolster the economy, and support systems that serve employees and their families. Our education system here in Illinois boasts examples of excellence at all levels in early childhood, K-12, and higher ed. Illinois is a leader in access to early education, ranking #1 in the nation for preschool access for 3-year-olds from 2007 to 2012. The state is home to some of the top-ranked high schools in the nation. Innovative programs such as Illinois Pathways have leveraged federal race-to-the-top funding that helps prepare our sons and daughters for the 21st century jobs in STEM fields. Illinois is home to a world-renowned private and post-secondary institutions that prepare the next generation of leaders and at the same time improve our economic competitiveness, expands our understanding of the universe, and improves the beauty in our lives through the arts. While there is much for Illinois that we can be proud, the educational experience of Illinois students varies greatly across the state. Successful programs have not been brought to scale and are often unavailable to children who live in isolated and impoverished regions. Insufficient infrastructure and dated technology make it almost impossible for teachers and school leaders to monitor students' performance in a way where instructional changes can improve learning outcomes. Administrative decisions and high-impact practices are often derailed by a complex school code and statewide bureaucracy. School districts lack the flexibility, the tools, and the resources to create positive learning environments, track student achievement longitudinally, or implement innovative programs. And school boards sometimes lack the data and authority to hold administrators and teachers accountable for improved student performance. Most importantly, in parts of this great state, the lack of quality school option forces families to send their children to schools that are failing. Illinois requires bold, sustained, and systemic change. We need a strategic, comprehensive overhaul of the system from preschool to workforce readiness that increases support and accountability for quality education, that eases transition points for students, that ensures fair access to quality education for all students, that strengthens and expands quality leadership, that invents in 21st century data infrastructure, systems, and technologies, and demands administrative effectiveness and efficiency throughout early childhood, K-12, higher ed, and workforce development. Success will be defined by significantly improved outcomes for the entire educational system. The committee defined successful outcomes as improved academic performance for students so that they are equipped with the skills and the content knowledge required for 21st century employment. Improved social emotional health and well-being so that students thrive in school and live happy and productive lives. And a system so advanced that it attracts industry to Illinois, increasing access to 21st century jobs for all Illinois residents. The committee recommended 6 strategies to accomplish these improved outcomes. The first was support and accountability for quality education. The idea is to establish clear and high standards for teaching and learning, to promote social emotional development, to increase and improve the quality of instructional minutes for all children, to improve outcomes in the lowest performing schools, and to provide more flexibility for innovation. And I think for these, in this category, I see some of the hallmarks of what were in the Vision 2020 program. We want smooth transition points. When we think about the way children come from early childhood all the way through workforce readiness, any of us who have parents who are parents in Illinois know that sometimes it can be quite difficult to move your child from one system to the other. We want to expand educational programming centered on employment for our older kids. We want to improve the graduation rate at 2-year and 4-year universities, and improve and expand effective career counseling and advising across the continuum. We want our children to leave high school ready for rigorous college or for meaningful employment, and we want our students to leave 4-year universities ready to do the same. We want fair access to quality education. We want to expand and improve early childhood centers and programming. We want to introduce wholesale reform of state education funding. We want to increase high-quality options for families and replicate those great public schools that are working. And we want to improve 2- and 4-year college affordability. We want to strengthen and expand quality leadership. Now, standing in this room to talk to you all about expanding quality leadership is preaching to the choir. This is where I'm hoping in my position that my partnership with the people standing in this room goes further, because you know more about what it takes to lead great classrooms, great schools, great systems, and the state than anyone else. In this room is the brain trust of quality leadership. So I'm hoping that we can use 2020 conversations and so hopefully some task force to work together to take the knowledge that we have here and expand it even further. We want to identify strategies to support teachers in the field and track and improve teacher performance and leadership. We want to build on and bring to scale effective leadership among principals and administrators. And we want to encourage family and student engagement in the educational process. We want to align governance, personnel, and agency boards with these stated strategies. Data systems and technology are a challenge for all of us. As I say to my own kids, I went to college in a time where I didn't have a computer and I made money typing. I used to type other kids' papers to make $1 a page. My kids just stare at me as I'm odd. And my high school students in my last job they wouldn't believe me that at my age, at 49 years old, I grew up in a time and an education without computers. But we know that we need to improve the data systems and data sharing across agencies so that we can better support school leaders. We know that we need to improve the technological infrastructure to increase access to quality technology-based instruction, especially in those parts of the state where teachers can't run the high-quality technology products that they know may help their students learn. And in terms of administrative effectiveness, we want to simplify government structures, and we want to leverage external funding where appropriate to increase the rate of educational impact. Part of my job coming in here is to better understand those things that get in the way of school leaders and administrators in being effective, and try to reduce and eliminate mandates that get in the way of you all doing your jobs. In his State of the State address, Governor Rauner shared his plan to increase K-12 education support, and this will particularly help Illinois' most disadvantaged school districts, to increase funding for early childhood education so that more children enter kindergarten ready to succeed, to invest in technical and vocational training to accelerate the school-to-work transition. Success of any subcommittee recommendations will require the sustained effort and commitment of you, the leaders of Illinois education. As superintendents, school board members, principals, school business officials, and parents, you all have a unique understanding of the challenges facing our students, our teachers, and all education professionals. Thank you for allowing me to share in your summit. I thank you on behalf of the Governor's Office for your unwavering commitment to the future of Illinois. To steal a line from the Governor, education is the most important thing we do as a community. Thank you.
Probably the question that everyone has in the room, what will the Governor be sharing with us tomorrow as to how he will fund these plans?
Well, I don't like to start with no comment, but to be candid, I don't know. Because I just started today, I have not been privy to the conversations around what the budget will be tomorrow.
I'm an elected member of a Board of Education in Lido, Illinois, Mercer County. Question, are we going to get our 4th state aid payment, and are we going to get all of our categorical money this year? And when will we know about that? Well, because it's hard to plan the next year's budget, which we'll be doing soon too, if we don't know how much we have.
Well, as someone who ran a 8,800 charter school district, these are the same questions I would ask. I don't have the answer, but that is something I will definitely bring back and ask the question of. The question was, will I come back tomorrow with some answers? Probably not.
Hi, my name's Bill Alexander. I'm a school board member from New Berlin, and I was wondering if you can comment on what the transition team's planning was for the vision of the State Board of Education ongoing now.
Certainly. So in thinking about the role of the transition committee, it was not just to look at the Illinois State Board of Education. I think it's really important that what the governor really asked us to do, and Laz, please jump in if I forget something as a co-chair, is to really look at the pathway for children from birth through workforce readiness. And to look not just at the Illinois State Board of Ed, but to the 5 agencies and councils that really touch children, from early childhood to the Community College Board, to the Higher Ed Board, to ISB, and to some extent, Health and Human Services. And to try to better understand of what the ride is like for a child from the time they enter the educational system to the time they enter the workforce. And so there were no specific plans for one agency or the other. The idea were, what are the goals that a group of, sometimes, actually a pretty diverse group of educators in this state, and then to say, what would we like the end point to look like? Now, I think over the next 6 months, there will be a lot of listening. There will be a lot of understanding what these 5 different councils and agencies are doing well, what needs to be improved upon, and how we create, the end idea is always the child and the family, and how do we create a more coherent and cohesive system of learning and of growth for the children of Illinois.
You're watching the Illinois Channel, an independent nonprofit corporation formed to provide gavel-to-gavel coverage of Illinois state government and other public affairs events taking place across Illinois.